2, Mr. Speaker, I would want the committee to conduct a detailed review of all the properties owned by the Pyrethrum Processing Company of Kenya with a view to establish the status of these assets and to ensure that public resources are safeguarded. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to provide a report of the PPCK's financial status, operational challenges, including a full impact assessment with consideration of a potential to restructure this corporation instead of dissolving it, since it has been making a profit in its operations. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like the committee to outline measures that the Ministry of Agriculture is taking to ensure that farmers, employees, and other affected parties are consulted to find an amicable way on how this matter could be sorted out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for a few minutes.
Thank you, Senator Onyonka. Now, finally, we call upon Senator Alex Mundigi.
Request for statement on the poor state of the Mudhatari, Kiamuringa, Siakago Road in Embu County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise person to standing order 53-1 to check a statement from the Standing Committee on Loans, Transportation and Housing regarding the poor state of the Mudhatari, Kiamuringa, Siakago Road in Embu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the budgetary allocation in the current financial year for the recuperating of the said loan, which spans a length of 26 kilometers and which serves as a vital link to part of Manyata, Bere South and Bere North constituencies. 2, explaining whether the said budgetary allocation is sufficient for the repair works, and if not, recommend measures that will be deployed to adequately fund the road works. And 3, find out whether the Ministry of Loans and Transport has prioritized renovation of the said loans as a matter of urgency, and further accuse the Ministry to visit the said loans to assess in condition and come up with accurate estimate for purpose of allocating sufficient funds for the rehabilitation of the loans. Senator Mundigi, Embu County.
Thank you, Senator Dr. Mundigi. You forgot today to make reference to your title, Dr. Mundigi. Thank you. Honorable members, I will allow comments for those who would be interested to comment on the statements read out on behalf of Senator Hamida Kibwana, by Onyonka, and Senator Mundigi, as well as Senator Faki. Senator Mungatana, Senator Sifuna, or the requests are for previous... okay, Senator Sifuna, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted to briefly comment on the statements by Senator Faki and Senator Hamida, but before I do, Honorable Speaker, this is the last sitting of the week before a major event happens in Addis Ababa. And I'm happy that Senator Olekina is back from Addis. He was there overnight to just ensure that everything is okay. He has assured me that everything is going well, and that after this sitting, he will also be leaving back for Addis to ensure that everything goes. I wish Baba well, and I wish the team that is there representing as well. The rest of us are here holding fort. Honorable Speaker, we have treated the people who work in our medical institutions with absolute contempt. I remember last year, in the last session, medical interns were seated here, and we as a House had made a promise to them that we were going to support them to ensure that not only are they absorbed into the workforce, but also that they are treated well and fairly and remunerated in accordance with their qualifications. I remember the big debate on whether interns were actually interns in the sense of the word that is used, as is used in other professions, or whether these were in fact qualified medical practitioners, Honorable Speaker, and full doctors who are being mistreated. I remember there was a long period where there was a doctor strike. Dr. Khalwale remembers that period, and we thought that all these matters have been resolved. Honorable Speaker, we speak to some of these interns, and some of them who were lucky to get employment in places like this gentleman in Thika Level 5, others in Nakuru, even here in Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, some of them, after being out of employment for so long, after being promised good working conditions, even those counties are not paying them salaries. Some of them have arrears of up to 3-6 months, Honorable Speaker. So as a House and the Health Committee that has just been reconstituted, we really need to be serious about our medical health practitioners. Yesterday, Honorable Speaker, we were talking about the way the community health promoters are being treated. I had occasion, together with my delegation from Nairobi of senators, Honorable Speaker, to have a meeting with a section of the county health promoters in Nairobi, the community health promoters in Nairobi. And Honorable Speaker, the horror stories that we had from that group requires that we as a House do something. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine people going to work without basic protective equipment. Here in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, when it rains, and most of these community health promoters are working as frontline workers in places such as our slum areas, Honorable Speaker. When it rains, you cannot go in there without proper shoes or gumboots. Honorable Speaker, can you imagine the community health promoters in Nairobi numbering over 7,000, asking a senator like myself to buy them gumboots because the county government is unable to supply them with these gumboots? When I speak to the management at Bata, Honorable Khalwale, one pair of gumboots is going at 700 shillings, Honorable Speaker. Everybody knows my salary, and you know what the taxman has done to our pay slips, Honorable Speaker. How can a senator be expected to spend 5 million shillings on buying gumboots for community health promoters, and yet we resource our county governments properly for them to be able to equip our community health promoters to work for us? Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the deteriorating levels of health services in the counties and the statement that was brought by FACI, we also need to look at the financing element for our hospitals. I was speaking to the CEO of Mbagathi Hospital today, Honorable Speaker, to just find out the status of the repayment by SHA. And this was prompted because when I looked at my pay slip again, I am being deducted 32,000 Kenya shillings every day, and we were told that this is going to be the panacea of all our problems in the health sector. The CEO at Mbagathi tells me that they are billing SHA shillings 4 million per day. And if you do the math, it is over 120 million shillings per month that SHA is supposed to pay Mbagathi Hospital. But SHA is paying Mbagathi Hospital a measly 15 million shillings per month. How are they supposed to provide services, Honorable Speaker? As we speak today, the social health assurance owes Mbagathi Hospital alone 400 million Kenya shillings. And then we expect these hospitals to serve the people of Nairobi. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we must raise these issues, and we want the committee that has been charged with these two statements to ensure that they come to the bottom of all these issues so that we are able to not only treat our community health promoters and the medical interns and everybody who works in the health sector with dignity, but also are able to unlock the problem of financing from SHA. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, at the invitation of the Senator of Mandera, me and some colleagues, and I can see has walked in, visited the health facilities in Mandera. And one of the things is that many of the equipment that had been procured under the medical leasing scheme, those contracts are coming to an end. And the information we gathered from Mandera is that the suppliers of the new equipment are putting very onerous terms in terms of percentages of the money that is supposed to be paid to those suppliers on these county governments. They told us it is as high as 60% of the payment that is paid for that service is required to go back to the medical supplier, the equipment supplier. So as a Senate, we must bring those contracts into focus here, and I want to urge the Health Committee to ensure that this is done so that our people can enjoy proper health facilities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Samson Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, I want to, from the onset, to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I want to support the statement by Senator Mohamed Faki, Senator 001 from Mombasa, for this wonderful statement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I agree. I thought Mombasa is better. In terms of poor service delivery of of health services, Nandi should be number one in poor service delivery. Mr. Speaker, because in 1st December 2024, I did visit Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, which should be our referral facility. Mr. Speaker, I remember you calling me that you saw the pictures and you saw the pathetic and dilapidated situation at Kapsabet County Referral Hospital. Mr. Speaker, some of us who have walked this journey of devolution, we have always thought that can we form National Health Commission? Because the crisis that you see in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in Nandi, among other constituencies, Mr. Speaker, among other counties, is saddening. Even I remember you lost a child at, is it Kaplong or is it Tenwek? Yeah, because of negligence in Bomet Hospital, that a young child, because of negligence. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, that was in Longisa Hospital, and the second one was in Cheptalal Hospital.
Yeah, both in Longisa and Cheptalal, Mr. Speaker. So those are just grim statistics, Mr. Speaker. Right to health should be very basic to every Kenyan. Mr. Speaker, and sometimes, you know, some of us don't want to encourage clawback of functions to national government. But when we see statistics such that the poor health facilities and provision of poor health services in Mombasa, Mr. Speaker, we always feel sad and imagine, can we claw back the health function to national government? Will it be better? Those are questions that many Kenyans ask, Mr. Speaker. Because out of 196 facilities that I have in Nandi, among level 4 hospitals and the main Kapsabet County referral, there is nothing to write home about, Mr. Speaker. We must ask ourselves the hard question that why is it that Kenyans go to health facilities and they cannot get drugs? Why is it that Kenyans walk in and the watchmen are giving drugs like it was happening? A Form 4 dropout in Turkana County was dispensing drugs, Mr. Speaker. You know, we need to be serious, Mr. Speaker, because it is very unfortunate. And I want to thank Senator Faki. I want to ask Senator Faki, through the committee of Senator Mandago, if he's elected the chair of health, Mr. Speaker, should even begin a commission of inquiry into the state of health facilities across the 47 counties, Mr. Speaker. Even Kisii County, there is nothing to write home about, Mr. Speaker. So I want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, Senator Mandago-led committee to not only look at Mombasa County, let them even request, Mr. Speaker, this to be a precursor of inquiry on the state of health across 47 counties, Mr. Speaker. Because Nandi, my people are suffering, Mr. Speaker. Even today, as we're talking, if they are not suffering in hospital, they are suffering in towns. They were being evicted by governor today, Mr. Speaker, from their own main market. And I know Senator Oburu knows Kapsabet very well, because on several occasions he asked me at Kapsabet about Kapsabet town, that they have been affected, Mr. Speaker. You are suffering when you are well, and you are suffering when you are in hospital, Mr. Speaker. So I want to thank Senator Faki, and I expect that the deputy ODM party leader to do better. And I want to send the ODM deputy party leader, Mheshimiwa Otsotsi. Can you encourage Governor Abdul Samad? It is not the tradition of ODM to perform poorly. And as the Secretary General of ODM, Senator Sifuna, please, you need to pull up your socks. You can even, as a party, invite your governor, and so that we don't need to embarrass him in public, so that we don't need, Mr. Speaker, we don't need Senator Sifuna, Mr. Speaker, can read the riot act. You know the SG has so many powers, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, the constitutional mandate of oversighting county governments is vested in only one institution, and that institution is the Senate, for which the member of Nandi is a member. Is it in order for him to demand that a political party, which he knows does not have the same powers as his house, rein in members of the Council of Governors, even if they belong to my political party, Honorable Speaker?
Order, Senator Sifuna. And of course, Senator Cherargei, you are aware of exactly what Senator Sifuna has said. It is not within the province of the party to do oversight, nor is it in the province of the Secretary General of the ODM to rein on his members to act. However, it is your mandate as a senator and as a member of this House to make sure that we firm up and do what is right, that is to protect devolution and protect the county governments. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why.
You are reminded that you are a member.
Yes, I'm a member of PAC, Mr. Speaker. But I don't know, Sifuna should pick a side. Because when it is convenient, he says ODM is doing very well. But when ODM performs poorly, he wants to disassociate from ODM deputy party leader. Mr. Speaker, I agree that we have the oversight role. But I was just challenging him as the Secretary General and to assist the governor of Mombasa to run county of Mombasa, because Mombasa County, I elected an ODM governor, Mr. Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, order. Senator Abdul, order, please. Let's allow Senator Cherargei to be heard in silence.
Yes.
If you are consulting, please do so in low tones to avoid disruptions in the House. Proceed.
So I hope I can see Senator Sifuna is taking notes, and also Senator Sifuna, Otsotsi, to follow up. Number two, and finally, Mr. Speaker, is on the issue of poor state of Motari, Kiamaringa, Siakago Road, brought by Senator Mundigi. I want to thank Senator Mundigi, Mr. Speaker, because I have never seen Senator Mundigi bringing any other statement about any other place except Embu. It shows that Senator Mundigi loves the people of Embu with all his heart. And we were there with him, Mr. Speaker, sometimes back. This road must be fixed. I am told we have a pending bill of roads close to 1 trillion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask members of the Senate that there is a public participation on tolling of roads. The government wants to raise 230 billion. Even as we try to toll our roads, that 230 billion that we are trying to raise, Mr. Speaker, and also under road maintenance levy fund that has been fought by the Speaker, by the governors, Mr. Speaker, we should allow the tolling of our roads for the maintenance of our roads, especially this road from Mutatari up to Siagago Road. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask Senator Mundigi, because I had a chance of overflowing through Mau Mau roads, that road has been designed to go to Nyeri. I want to request, Mr. Speaker, that Senator Mundigi bring so that we vary and include on Mau Mau roads, so that as it goes to Nyeri, the dual link from Muranga all the way to Nyeri under Mau Mau roads, they should be included into Embu and Siagago and Mutatiri Road, Mr. Speaker, because I believe Mau Mau were also roaming in Embu, and Mau Mau also belong to Embu, Mr. Speaker. So I want to challenge, even in Mau Mau roads, this issue of Embu must be included, Mr. Speaker, and it is no offense that Senator Karungo Dhangwa should also allow that we include in Mau Mau Road so that the people of Embu can also benefit, Mr. Speaker, but allow members that as the public participation on tolling of roads, please let us members participate so that when we pass something, Mr. Speaker, we don't come and complain again. So, and even in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, you remember my issue. The Nandi-Ilsimaki Road, it has not been fixed. The one from Chemuswa Danger has not been fixed. The one from Kargang or Kurgung, all the way to Chepterwai, to Chepsaita, you know Chepsaita very well, your friend comes from there, to all the way to Mudete, Mr. Speaker, has not been fixed. The one from Meteitei, all the way to Wazingishu, where Senator Mandago comes from, has not been fixed. The one from Chepterit, all the way to Mo University, is now rejected, Mr. Speaker. The one from Masop, Kabngetich, Ngechek, has not been fixed, Mr. Speaker. So this issue of roads that has not been fixed, Mr. Speaker, is that we must work towards it to ensure that we fix our roads across the counties that we have, Mr. Speaker, going into the future. Mr. Speaker, I support and commend Senator Mundigi for bringing this issue, and I want to wish everybody who is traveling the Addis all the best. I'm told the prices of air tickets have gone up to 250,000 by economy. So I want to wish all members who are going to Addis all the best and safe flight, and we hope that it shall be well. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support and I thank you.
Allow everybody to contribute who is interested to limit the extent of the time we will spend. to 3 minutes per senator so that we have an opportunity as members to contribute to it. I do believe that is reasonable in the circumstances, and whoever is speaking henceforth, let's limit to 3 minutes per senator. I will allow Senator Maruma Jones Mashusha.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa umenipa ili kuchangia ombi kutoka kwa Senator wa Mombasa Mheshimiwa Faki kuhusu kudorora kwa hali ya afya mjini Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, mji wa Mombasa ama hospitali za mji wa Mombasa ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu tukiangalia kama hospitali ya Pwani Coast General inasaidia kaunti inazozunguka za Pwani kama Taita Taveta, Kilifi, Kwale, Tana River na zinginezo. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni hospitali ambayo iko kimkakati, ama kwa kizungu Mheshimiwa Spika, iko strategic, kwa sababu inahudumia kaunti zote hizo. Na tukisikia kwamba hali ya afya katika hii hospitali imedorora, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jambo la kuhuzunisha na ni jambo la kutia wasiwasi. Mheshimiwa Spika, nilikuwa na mswada hapa mhula uliopita, na nafikiri wakati huu pia nitauleta, wa kuangalia ni vipi hospitali ya Coast General inaweza fanywa hospitali ya rufaa, kwa sababu ina umuhimu mkubwa sana. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti ya Mombasa ni kaunti ambayo ina watalii wengi. Kwa hivyo ni lazima kuwe kuna huduma ya afya ya kutosha na ambayo iko katika kiwango cha juu. Mheshimiwa Spika, jana Mheshimiwa Spika, tuliambiwa na Senator Miraji ya kwamba kuna mgonjwa alitoka hospitali ya Taita Taveta kwa kukosa huduma za kujifungua, na ikabidi aende kwa hospitali huko Mombasa. Na kama Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali ya rufaa ya Coast ingekuwa nzuri ama Coast General, basi angepata matibabu, lakini ilibidi aende hospitali ya private. Mheshimiwa Spika, na alienda Aga Khan, na sasa ile pesa anadaiwa ni zaidi ya milioni 9, na huyu mama hakufua dafu kuendelea kuishi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema ya kwamba ni vyema county governments ziangalie hali ya afya ya hospitali zetu. Kwa mfano, Senator Miraji alitoa hoja jana ya kwamba huyu mama ambaye hakutibiwa ni kwa sababu serikali ya kaunti ya Taita Taveta haikulipa SHIF. Mheshimiwa Spika, huyu mama alikuwa tayari ashakatwa ile pesa, lakini pesa haikufika kwa SHIF na hakupata huduma za afya. Hii kaunti ya Taita Taveta, Mheshimiwa Spika, tuliita katika Senate kamati ya health, na walikuja wakasema ya kwamba wakaahidi ya kwamba watalipa hii pesa. Mheshimiwa Spika, la kushangaza ni kwamba mpaka saa hizi hawajalipa hiyo pesa. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tufuatilie, kwa sababu kulikuwa na milioni 800 ambayo ilikatwa kwa wafanyikazi wa Taita Taveta na ilikuwa kama pending bill. Tutasukuma hiyo na Taita Taveta ifanyiwe special audit ili pesa yote ambayo imekatwa wafanyikazi ipate kulipwa kwa SHIF, ili wafanyikazi wapate huduma za afya. Mheshimiwa Spika, na kuna hii hoja Mheshimiwa Spika imeletwa na Senator Hamida Kibwana ya kuhusu Managed Equipment Scheme ama MES. Mheshimiwa Spika, kaunti nyingi bado zinapata huduma kutoka kwa MES, lakini haieleweki ile mkataba ya kuwa ni nani atafanya repair ama huduma wakati zile mashini zimeharibika.
Senator Maruma, your time is up. Senator Mungatana Buya Danson.
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to comment only on one statement. This is the statement on nominated Senator Kibwana on the Ministry of Health National Equipment Support Program. Mr. Speaker, I had the rare privilege yesterday of addressing the Tana River County Assembly, and thereafter, Mr. Speaker, we sat with the members of the County Assembly. And one of the issues in a private now, Kamkunji, one of the issues that came up, Mr. Speaker, is about the maintenance of medical equipment. Mr. Speaker, when these equipments get messed up or they get broken down, it takes a whole year. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the engineer or the repairman who was supposed to fix some equipment in Hola Referral Hospital, after 2 years, finally, he arrived 2 weeks ago. After 2 years, Mr. Speaker. So the X-ray equipment is brought, and then it cracks somewhere along the line. The county government is paying every month to the national government under these agreements, and yet the service is not there because the equipment is broken down. Mr. Speaker, we need to review this equipment, and the question then must be asked, why is the national government interfering with health, which is a county government function? Why is the national government continuing with unconstitutional agreements where they are forcing county governments like Tana River county governments to pay for services and equipment that we are not benefiting from? Mr. Speaker, these equipment, they have broken down, but the county government is still being forced to pay. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this statement and urge that when the Committee for Health sits down to engage, they should also invite all of us who are affected so that we can give them more information to deal with this matter effectively. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Ledama Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on two statements. One, the statement by the distinguished senator from Mombasa, Senator Faki. Mr. Speaker, this Senate has got one critical function, is to defend our counties and their interests. This picture, which has been displayed here by Senator Faki about the health facilities in Mombasa, is the same across the country. I think it's imperative that we really become serious in pushing for at least these county governments to just focus on delivering one service, just healthcare. Mr. Speaker, as I comment on this statement, because of my short time, I'll be remiss not to comment on the statement by Senator Hamida on the medical equipment scheme. In the last parliament, we had medical equipment scheme. We had a huge scandal. All these equipments which are being leased, and then the hospital have got no drugs. Those hospitals that have got equipment, they are dilapidated equipment. Seriously, I think we just need to be serious. And I concur with the distinguished senator from Tana River and say that when the Committee of Health, which I'm happy to be part of the member, will be investigating this matter, we should open up to all the members so that we can actually be able to go across all the 47 counties. Today, I even want to propose that we stop all the budgets of flying out of the country for anything else. We concentrate this year on going to all the 47 counties. We look at the health facilities, and we take our governors to task. It is ridiculous. You heard what Senator Sifuna said. If now it is us during our oversight trips that we are required to buy gumboots for medical, for community health practitioners, what exactly are we talking about? And have you looked at the budget for SHA, Mr. Speaker? If only SHA is getting 25 billion shillings this year alone in the 2024-25 budget, and they cannot be able to support the communities, what exactly are we doing here? We are lying to yourself that we care about health facilities. In fact, people out there should start looking at these governors. Only vote for a governor who can deliver at least even one thing. Let them not say they are developing what? If they cannot be able to help you in your health care, basic welfare of citizens, then what exactly are we doing? So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to call upon all of us here. It's quite seldom that all of us are here and we really become invested in a matter that changes the life of our citizens. We are here, we are called honorable because we are given that opportunity by the citizens in our...
Senator Wakoli Wafula.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Ningependa kusisitiza hoja ambayo Mheshimiwa Faki ameweza kuibua hapa kuhusiana na hali ya afya katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Mheshimiwa Spika, hospitali ya Mombasa ina mapacha katika kaunti tofauti. Na mapacha hawa wanafanana kabisa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulizungumzia masuala ya matabibu wanaojitolea ambao hali yao ni ya kudhoofisha na kusononesha sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna wahudumu wengine katika hospitali zetu ambao kwa wiki kadhaa sasa wamekuwa kwenye migomo Mheshimiwa Spika. Kaunti ya Kisii, kaunti ya Bungoma, nimeona kaunti ya Nairobi wanafanya mazoezi Mheshimiwa Spika, Mombasa. Maswali ni je, Mheshimiwa Spika, itakuwaje kaunti za humu nchini ikiwemo kaunti ya Bungoma kwa na mustakabali ama makubaliano ya urejesho wa kazi kwamba kutakuwa na marupurupu ya kununua mavazi, kutakuwa na kupandisha kwa hadhi ama madaraka kwa madaktari hawa kwa wakati unaostahili, lakini wanapouliza nafasi hizi ama makubaliano haya wanatishwa mshahara kusimamishwa na wengine kazi kusimamishwa Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati umefika magavana wajibike. Viongozi hawa, madaktari hawa wako kwenye migomo na magavana hawataji ama kuonyesha kwamba kuna shida katika kaunti zao. Mimi nashukuru Maulana Rabuka kwa kunipa nafasi kwa mmojawapo wa kamati ya afya katika jumba la Senate. Mheshimiwa Lekina na wengine tulivalia njuga swala hili. Tutembee katika kaunti hizi na tuwataje kwa majina na kuwaeleza kinagaubaga kabamnasi ya umma wale ambao kwa sasa wako katika nchi za ng'ambo wanafanya utafiti na kuzuru miradi ya ng'ambo, ili hali kwao nyumbani ni aibu tele na haitupi sisi moyo kwamba wao ni magavana. Mheshimiwa Spika, baadhi ya hospitali zetu hazina madawa. Wamejenga hospitali gushi, majumba yasiyokuwa na matabibu na madaktari. Lakini cha muhimu Mheshimiwa Spika, wanajenga vyumba
Senator Wafula, your time is up and you are actually not on the mic. Thank you for your contribution. Senator Boy Isa Juma.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa hii na mimi niweze kuchangia hii mada ambayo imeletwa na Senator wa Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki. Mheshimiwa Spika, kusema la kweli hospitali ya referral ya Coast General Hospital ni hospitali ambayo tunaitegemea sisi sana pande wa pwani. Ya kusikitisha Mheshimiwa Spika, hivi karibuni kama mwezi jana kuna kijana mmoja mdogo ambaye ana kama miaka 2 au miaka 3 alizaliwa kule Kwale County. Huyo mtoto ni mvulana, lakini katika jinsia ya kiume pale katika jinsia yake imeingia ndani sana. Ikabidi awe referral aletwe Makadara. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi mwenyewe binafsi nilikwenda nikamwona daktari mkuu Dr. Kandwala ambaye alinisaidia sana. akarifaa huyo mtoto kwa specialist wa watoto, lakini baadaye ikaangaliwa kwamba huyo mtoto imeshindikana pale Mombasa, hakuna daktari ambaye aweza kumfanyia ule upasuaji ule mtoto. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, hii hoja ambayo imeletwa na Mheshimiwa Faki hapa ni ya muhimu sana, kwa sababu kama Mombasa Coast General Hospital ni hospitali ambayo inarifaa, yatakana iwe na madaktari ambao wamebobea, madaktari ambao wanaweza kutibu watu, na sio mgonjwa aletwe iwe hakuna madaktari. Upande mwingine ukiangalia madawa, pia utasikia madawa hakuna. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili ni jambo la kusikitisha sana, hasa hiyo kesi ya huyo mtoto. Mimi kama seneta wa jimbo la Kwale nitajaribu kadiri uwezo wangu, nikirudi safari hii nataka nihakikishe huyo mtoto nimlete Nairobi ili aweze kupata huduma ambayo itawezekana. Kwa hivyo naunga sana hoja hii ya Mheshimiwa Faki. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Karungu Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also comment on a few statements that have been raised by, especially Senator from Mombasa, on the issue of medical services and medical the treatments in the hospital, in the Mombasa hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's not just Mombasa that is not giving proper medical facilities. It's across almost all counties, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this not only affects the patients, it also affects the nurses and the doctors who are working at those facilities, Mr. Speaker. But as a Senate, Mr. Speaker, we have been handed a golden opportunity. And a golden opportunity is coming up with the revenue sharing formula, Mr. Speaker, that you'll see that we give more money to the counties. And I would urge this House and urge the Budget Committee, Finance and Budget Committee, to introduce a parameter when they're doing the scrutinizing this report, to have a revenue sharing index that is based on health, Mr. Speaker. Why am I saying that? Mr. Speaker, you know health is universal. You cannot stop one person to go to a certain hospital. People leave their counties to go to other counties seeking for health services, Mr. Speaker. For example, Thika Level 5 Hospital in Kiambu, we get patients from all the way from Garissa who come to the hospitals, Mr. Speaker, from Machakos, from Muranga. So if we cannot use the health index when we are sharing money to the counties, Mr. Speaker, we will continue experiencing this issue of poor health facilities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, remember some of these counties, or some of these people from these counties who visit these hospitals. They come from counties that are poorer, that have received more money because they use the poverty index, Mr. Speaker, on those counties. Yet, those counties are becoming poorer than before, Mr. Speaker. What I'm trying to say is we have been handed an opportunity to solve this issue by making sure that we give more money to counties that are giving proper medical services, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, on the statement by Hamida, it is very sad in Kiambu County, in a span of 4 months, we have lost 2 medical interns by way of suicide, Mr. Speaker. This shows that we need to interrogate Kiambu County government. We need to interrogate the Kiambu hospitals, because we have lost Francis Njuki from Thika Level 5 4 months ago.
Senator Karungo, your time is up, and they definitely have heard you. Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you so much, Chair. You know, before I say anything, I think this being a last session, Chair, I think it's in order to wish our candidate as a country and as a nation, and of course, the president of this country, because he's going to be a voter in Addis Ababa. We wish our candidate, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, well in Addis Ababa. We have sent quite a good team there to give them moral support, but I wanted to make it clear to the country that any MP who's going there that I know of is self-sponsoring. These things are not sponsored by state. Even me, I've sponsored some MPs who do not have resources to go there. So it is self-sponsorship, it's not state-sponsored. Everyone is going there to support in their own capacity. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of health statement by Senator Faki, I do really agree with this statement, and I hope that the committee will do a good work to help the county government think it through. But even as we do that, Mr. Speaker, I would want to emphasize that one of the biggest challenges that these big counties face, like Mombasa and Nairobi, is that they don't only serve their own native or indigenous populations. They tend to support a number of big populations from outside those counties. If you think about Mombasa, it's serving Kwale, it's serving Kilifi, it's serving Taita Taveta in terms of people who live in those areas, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, one thing that we must fight for is that the BPS right now is going to read to this House a 4.6 trillion budget. I would want us to see that we fight for more money to come to the devolved healthcare, because about 50 billion that counties get, even if they were to divide, they can barely just invest about 1 billion in healthcare. But then the national government still remains a lot of money when it comes to healthcare, only to deal with issues of policy and to deal with the 5 national referral hospitals. And this is something we must critically look at and make sure we allow counties to get more money. And I also want to inform my brother Chirargei that actually Kisii County is not doing bad, at least on this area. That I can tell you comfortably, that Kisii County has got a lot of challenges in terms of healthcare, in terms of placement of the little they get, because what we need, Mr. Speaker, I haven't even finished saying my point.
False allegations. Sanitize things in this house. Mr. Speaker, I would like, on a point of order, mention that I find it completely unacceptable that my colleague Eddie, that I respect and have a humble respect for, who, even when we went to Migori and we were asking to be taken to Ombo Hospital to see what services are there, we were not allowed by his governor. So I don't know when Senator Eddie ever went to Kisii Hospital, levels 5, and inspected the facility, confirmed that everything is working, other than the fact that he's sanitizing my governor on this floor. I find that completely objectionable.
Chair, first of all, I want to request that I had 1 minute. So, thank you, Chair. So, Chair, I think it's unfair for the Senator of Kisii to attack my statement in anticipation. I haven't even said what I wanted to say. If he has got personal beef with his governor, that is his personal beef with his governor. But I was saying that comparative to what I see in Migori County, a number of these counties that are close to other counties, I have said Kilifi depends on Mombasa for healthcare services, so is Taita Taveta. It's also true that Migori County heavily depends on a number of hospitals in Kisii. I have had my own parents and even my own family members go to Tabaka in Kisii for medication, go for referral services in Kisii, because they have got better facilities than Migori County, and that's a fact. That's not a lie. So I think it's out of order for the Senator of Kisii to say that I'm sanitizing Kisii when I just give my experience, and even the people of Migori will tell you that for more of better referral services, we get them in Kisii and Bomet, a place called Tanwek Hospital. This is a Tanwek Hospital. That's where most of our people go and get medication, because Migori is struggling in these services. So I've said, and I can categorically say that Kisii County has got better facilities than us, Migori County, and my governor must work harder to be able to reach the levels of Kisii and the levels of Nairobi. And then lastly, Chair, on the issue of medical equipment, very fast in 2 seconds. I think that as a house, we must know that these medical equipment are getting old, but when they were being signed in contract, there was no contract on disposal. We are going to face serious health hazard if, as a Senate, we don't work with medical officers in these counties to figure out proper disposal for medical equipment across all our counties. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Eddy. For your information, you have made reference to Tanwek Hospital. It is not managed by the county government. It is a mission hospital, and probably that is why the services are better than those managed by the county government. But it is in Bomet County. The next person I'll give is Senator Keroche Tabitha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And I rise also to support the statement brought by Senator Faki. I know Mombasa is a city, and it's quite unfortunate that the hospital in Mombasa is in such a state. But I want to say I think the Nakuru hospital or health sector, the state, it is, I think, the worst in all the 47 counties. And I think if you look at the health sector, the way every county is complaining about, every center rising up here is complaining about, it should be the health state in our county should be referred as a national disaster. And I think as senators, we should come up with a law where if you are elected as a governor, if you are elected as a president of this country, you should not be allowed to go out of the country to seek for medical services or treatment. The reason is our governor had the audacity to tell the chief of staff to write a memo to the Nakuru County people and say that she has gone to America to give birth. Well, our women in Nakuru County are giving birth on the roadside. We have an incident even yesterday, not even far. Yesterday, a woman from Kurusoi South, from Wamaro Ward, gave birth in the roadside. Women had to strip their clothes, shouting, saying, "You, Susan, you are Excellency, our governor, you went to America to give birth, and you left us here in Nakuru County with no medical equipment." They should be, if you can become a governor or a president of this country, senators, come up with a law where they are all, told to ensure that the hospitals are properly equipped with the medicines and all the infrastructure, and to ensure that they have the human resource on medical, and to ensure the hospitals are functional, and to ensure the quality of the services can meet their status. So that they can meet their status, every woman, every person in that county can enter in those hospitals. If you look at America, the Trump will not get out of America. He'll be treated there. If you go to London, the queen of that Europe will be treated there. That's how we are supposed to treat our country, our counties. And if not that, we ensure the health of state in our counties should be...
Senator Tabitha. Senator Keroche. Honorable members, and for purposes of information, Senator Keroche, Order, Senator Keroche. Order, Senator Chirargei. The time allowed for purposes of comments is 1 hour. That 1 hour has since ended, and therefore so that we can progress with whatever other business of the House. We will end there. I know I still have got very many members who've requested to speak to the statements, but because we need to transact other businesses of the House, I will end there so that we move to the next order. Order, members. Senator Faki. Order, please. So we will move, honorable members, to the next order. Clerk. There is under Standing Order 57, there is a statement by the Majority Leader that is supposed to be read by the Deputy Majority Leader. Senator Tabitha Keroche. Order, Senator Halwale. Senator Tabitha, you are supposed to read a statement on behalf of the Leader of Majority. Proceed to take.
Statement by the Senator Majority Leader as the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday 18th, February 2025, pursuant to Standing Orders 57-1. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, I hereby present to the Senate the business for the week commencing Tuesday 18th, February 2025. Before I proceed with a statement, allow me to take this opportunity on behalf of the leadership of the Senate to welcome honorable senators to the fourth session. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, let me reinstate the pending legislative business before the Senate. 54 bills are pending conclusion, of which 44 are at the second reading stage and 12 are at the committee of the whole stage. 12 motions are pending conclusion. 22 petitions are pending conclusion, out of which 17 are due for reporting by the respective standing committee. And 431 statements sought pursuant to Standing Order 53 are under conclusion by respective standing committee, in addition to the 5 that were referred to respective committees during yesterday's afternoon sitting. It is evidently clear that we commence the fourth session with a heavy agenda. You recall that during the Senate midterm assessment and fourth session planning retreat that was held on 5th and 6th February 2025 in Nakuru County in Naivasha, we agreed on a set of priorities for this session. These are crucial in shaping the legacy of this Senate. Key among them was the prioritization and participation in plenary and committee sittings. It is imperative that all senators prioritize plenary and committee sittings to transact the business scheduled. Honorable senators with business listed in the order paper for any day are required to be in the chamber to prosecute the business. Honorable senators with the business listed in the order paper for any day are required to be in the chamber to prosecute the business. In the last 2 sittings, the momentum that we have set in debating the bills at orders number 11 and 12 in today's order paper is commendable. However, we must divorce ourselves from the practice where senators take their leave after making their contributions to a bill or motion. We must be ready to listen to each other and enrich our perspectives by remaining in the chamber after one has made their comments. We must also be ready for the next phase, which is the division. In this respect, I request the majority and minority party whips to ensure that we have the requisite number of county delegations to undertake divisions when required. Mr. Speaker, sir, as you will recall, yesterday, Wednesday 12th, February 2025, the Senate approved motions for the constitutional of select committees. This action was meant to reshape how committee business is undertaken and to bring in new blood. So to speak, in the membership of committees, I cannot emphasize enough on the need to have reports tabled within the timelines stipulated in statute and the standing orders. I look forward to more vibrant engagement that advance the business of select committees to the next level, and in so doing, facilitating information and constructive debate in plenary. Mr. Speaker, sir, on Tuesday, 18th February 2025, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business for the week. The tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from today's order paper, as well as the business indicated in the notice paper. The tentative business for the morning and afternoon sittings on Wednesday, 19th February 2025, will include business unconcluded from the order paper for Tuesday, 18th February 2025, and the following bills at the second reading stage: the County Wards Equitable Development Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2024, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 27 of 2024, the County Government State Officers Removal from Office Procedural Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2024, the Community Health Promoters Bill, National Assembly Bill number 53 of 2022, the Kenya Health Products and Technologies Regulatory Authorities Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022, and the Technopolis Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2024. Committee of the Whole, the Early Childhood Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 54 of 2023, the County Public Finance Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 39 of 2023, the County Government's Election Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2024, the County Assembly Services Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2023, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihoods Bill, Senate Bills number 41 of 2023, the Local Content Bill, Senate Bills number 50 of 2023, the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 40 of 2022, the Energy Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 42 of 2023, and the Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 53 of 2023. The projected business for Thursday, 20th February 2025 will include business not included in the order paper for Wednesday, 19th February 2025, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Additionally, there are motions on diverse matters that was filed by standing committees. These motions will be scheduled accordingly by the Senate Business Committee following the reconstitution of select committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, In conclusion, there are documents that were tabled yesterday and today, which will soon have a bearing on the business of the Senate. These are seasonal paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of Republic of Kenya, Commission on Revenue Allocation, recommendations on the county governments, recurrent expenditure, budget ceilings for financial year 2025-2026, Commission on Revenue Allocation, recommendations on the fourth basis for revenue sharing among the county governments for the financial years 2025-2026 to 2029-2030, the 2025 budget policy statements, and the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy. I urge the respective studying committees that these documents have been referred to roll up their sleeves and get down to work. We must burn the midnight oil to ensure that the reports are tabled within the required timelines, in statutes and in the standing orders. I thank you all and hereby lay statements on the table of the Senate. Senator Aaron Cheriot, EGH MP, Senator Majority Leader. Read by the Deputy Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Tabitha Keroche, lay.
Tabitha Keroche.
Clerk, next order.
Order number 8, the Public Holidays Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 31 of 2023, second reading.
This is a bill by Senator Karungo Tangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 159 to withdraw the Public Holidays Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 31 of 2023, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just very quickly, just to give you one of the reasons why. When we were in Naivasha for a retreat of the Senate, we all agreed that we should give priority to business or proposals that are of urgent need to the people of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the order paper of today and probably yesterday, you can see I have other important bills. One of them is the equitable development of wards by governors, Mr. Speaker. That is a very, very important bill that tells the governors that they have to equitably develop the wards across the country, Mr. Speaker, because some governors will always skip some wards if they don't get the support from the MCAs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, even yesterday, and the senators contributed here, we said we need to consolidate all bursaries so that we can make a secondary education free, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is one of the other proposals that I have in this Senate. So I decided to drop this Public Holidays Amendment Bill. Not that I don't believe in it. I believe in it because, Mr. Speaker, it is holiday economics, Mr. Speaker. But before we get there as Kenyans and understand how important it is, let's first of all discuss issues that for sure will benefit the Kenyans today, not tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tangwa, you have submitted a letter to that effect.
Yes.
And you have submitted a letter to that effect and has been processed, and as a consequences of which, resume your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
As a consequences of which, the bill is hereby accepted as withdrawn and is therefore dropped from the legislative list of the House. Give room for other urgent, as you've said. Clerk, may call the next order. Honorable members, we will have to also, before we rearrange the order paper, there is also a proposal to defer order number 9 and order number 10, which I hereby defer to the next sitting of the House. And we will move to the next order, which I ask the clerk to call order number 11.
Order number 11, the Environment Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 23 of 2024, second reading, resumption of debate.
Honorable members, this is resumption of the debate that was interrupted on Wednesday, 12th of February 2025 in the morning sitting. And as at the time, the Honorable Senator Abdul, who was the mover of this, was supposed to reply. Prior to that, I've just been corrected. Senator Onyonka had 15 minutes to conclude on his contribution. Then we will proceed from there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be very brief. First of all, I just wanted to give a rejoinder from the point where we stopped the other day. It is true we went to Mandera, and I thanked Senator Roba for the good work they had done in planting trees within Mandera Township. I then made a recommendation to my Senator Haji that if there's a possibility, without overloading the bill, let us look at who is going to be actually in charge of the management of this forest or any of the tree planting that we are going to do. I also raised the issue that we need to lay emphasis on environmental studies, whether it's environmental law, whether it's environmental civic education within our schools. I believe that can come into this bill. I also raised that even when we are seriously considering passing this bill and our counties are what is most important, I am also suggesting that Honorable Haji would look at if we can create environmental regional bodies that would be interlinked and interfaced from one county to the other, for the simple reason that what flows, for example, from Kisii County very easily moves to Migori County and very easily goes to Homa Bay County, because we are all county neighborhoods. And my suggestion is that if there was a way, we make sure that the trees that would recommend to be planted in these areas are trees that are going to be sustainable. The other point that I wanted to really suggest, Mr. Speaker, onto this bill is that last year there was an issue that I brought a motion onto the floor of this House, and I said that I think it's high time that we create botanical gardens within our counties, either within our municipalities or townships. I also made a suggestion that these botanical gardens would then would be allocated land by the county governments, where we plant trees who have got medicinal values, that have got general values, whether they were food. There were some trees which I remember in the county of Kisii, where I grew up, would be utilized to make sure that they cover for the sun when we planted coffee and tea. And those trees, some research needs to be done so that we can have a proper ecosystem designed to come up with environmental planning and arrangement for all these trees that we are going to plant. The other issue I said, Mr. Speaker, and I wanted Honorable Haji to also realize that there's a recommendation. Actually, somebody called me last night and said, could you ask the senator so that we can also start planting trees around road reserves, so that we can then have some of the areas which are left bare and they're all dusty, we do that. Somebody else made a recommendation, and I totally agree with it, Mr. Speaker, and that is that we need to look at what we have done to our schools. I remember when I was going to school as a young man, we were planting trees and keeping the compound clean and making sure that the vegetation looked nice and all that. I believe this is something that we can bring back. For some of you who are older, remember we used to have Senator Mungatana, what was known as the 4K clubs, where young students who are in primary, secondary schools can be taught and educated what the value of having a good environment and planting our beautiful African trees, so that then we can maintain our indigenous plants, trees, and all that is helping our community. The other, maybe the last point I wanted to say, Mr. Speaker, is that I saw, if you look at what Honorable Haji has tabled out here, he said, we shall promote the planting of trees in all public land vested in the county governments. We shall ensure that all trees that are felled for the implementation of any county project are relocated to an area designated by the service, and any person who harvests a tree shall replace the trees under the direction and in those areas that have been designated by the service. Mr. Speaker, actually, I think you just went and picked this from the template. It used to exist during the 1970s, the 1980s, and then as usual, we then came into the way we are having this bad behavior. We started cutting trees within our townships. We made sure that we were making sure that our towns are left bare and the municipal areas and all that. I would like to say that this bill encourages me because, as I've said, Mr. Speaker, on the floor of this House, that the county government of Kisii has given the Chinese company rights to cut trees within Kisii unabated. They don't replant, they don't ask anybody. You just see lorries which are picking trees and you are told they are going to China. I believe this bill will stop such activity, and this bill will make county governments become responsible, and I believe that this will make our country become a green country. I hope we'll adopt green technology on all our spheres, Mr. Speaker, because at some point we are going to have ourselves to start looking at our behavior. Why is it that we are cutting trees? And yet, Mr. Speaker, I believe that it's easier for us to use our sun so that we can solarize our schools, this National Assembly, all the big institutions in our republic. And there's a research which is done by the World Bank that if we solarize even just 30% of our institutions, the Kenyan government would end up saving something like 50 billion US shillings. I mean Kenya shillings. I believe that this is the direction to go, and I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for you particularly having brought this bill, and we will support it. And I am sure that many of our colleagues are seized of this matter, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Onyonka. Senator Mungatana.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kuleta sheria hii, hoja hii ya kuhusu mazingira katika bunge letu la Senate. Mimi nasimama kuunga mkono kwa dhati hii sheria, Bwana Spika, ambayo wewe mwenyewe Senator jirani Abdul Haji umeileta kwa bunge letu la Senate. Mimi naunga mkono sana haswa kipengele cha 6 ambacho kipengele hichi, Bwana Spika, kinasema ya kwamba bunge letu la Senate tukishapitisha sheria hii itakuwa kwamba kila mwaka kwa wiki moja tutakuwa na wiki ya kupanda miti. Kutoka tarehe 5 mwezi wa 3 kila mwaka mpaka tarehe 5th of March mpaka tarehe 21 ya mwezi huo tutakuwa na nafasi ya kupanda miti kama Wakenya. Na mimi, Bwana Spika, nataka kuchukua mazungumzo yangu kutoka pale seneta mwenzangu wa Kisii Bwana Onyonka alipoachilia. Bwana Spika, tukipitisha hii sheria ya kwamba kila mtu anajua ya kwamba kila mwaka kuna siku ambazo tumeziweka katika mwezi wa 3 ambapo sote wa Kenya tutakuwa tunapanda miti. Bwana Spika, tutatengeneza culture ambayo itatuingia katika akili zetu ya kwamba lazima tutunze mazingira yetu. Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Onyonka amezungumza kuhusu 4K clubs. Tulipokuwa watoto na tulipokuwa kwa mashule yetu, tulikuwa tunaambiwa lazima tujenge na tutunze mazingira yetu, na tulikuwa tunafunzwa katika hivyo clubs ya kwamba miti hii inafanya namna hii, mti huu ni wa dawa, mti huu ni wa kivuli, mti huu ni wa kutunza maji yasipite pande ile. Tulikuwa tunafunzwa mambo mengi, jinsi ya kupanda miti katika hivyo vilabu. Bwana Spika, miaka imepita, watoto hawafundishwi tena mambo haya. Bwana Spika, mimi mwenyewe nilipokuwa mdogo nilisoma Mombasa RG Ngala Primary School, mahali ambapo baba alikuwa anafanya kazi. Kisha nikaenda Ngao Primary School Tana River, Arap Moi Primary School Ngao. Bwana Spika, mti ambao niliupanda miaka ile katika primary school yangu, mpaka leo mti ule upo. Na nilipokwenda high school, Lance High School, Bwana Spika, tulifundishwa ya kwamba huwezi kukanyaga manyasi, na mtu yoyote ambaye amekuwa amefinywa, ameingizwa hizo akili, huwezi kumpata kwamba anakanyaga manyasi. Mr. Speaker, hata mimi leo nikiona mahali pako green, mimi kukanyaga pale inakuwa ni ngumu sana. Hata kama watu wanapita, mimi hutafuta namna ya kupita nje, kwa sababu ya ile culture ambayo nimejifundisha nilipokuwa mdogo. Sasa sisi tukiweka national culture ya kwamba Wakenya wote ikifika mwezi wa 3 tutakuwa sote tunaenda kupanda miti kwa wiki mzima. County government zetu tukifika mwezi wa 3 tarehe 15 sote tunaenda kupanda miti. Bwana Spika, hili litapeleka tabia mpya ambayo itatusaidia kutunza mazingira yetu. Bwana Spika, hii ni kitu ambayo tunataka kuingiza kwa watoto wetu. Manake Bwana Spika, leo hii tukiwa tunatembea na watoto wangu tu ambao nimewazaa, ukichukua kikombe cha plastiki ama chupa ya plastiki, hata mtoto mdogo, na ujaribu kutupa, watoto wanakuambia, baba, hiyo ni tabia mbaya. Ni kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu wamefundishwa mambo ya kuweka mazingira safi. Sasa hii sheria, Bwana Spika, tunataka tuipitishe hapa, tuiunge mkono, na katika miaka yote Bwana Spika itakumbukwa ya kwamba sheria ya Mheshimiwa Seneta Abdul Haji ndiyo tunaifuatizia. Kila mwaka tukienda kufanya hiyo kazi, tutakuwa tunakukumbuka Mheshimiwa. Hii ni kitu kikubwa sana ambacho umepitisha, na mimi nimefurahi kukuunga mkono. Bwana Spika, ukienda katika kila county, haswa county, mimi nazungumzia county yangu ya Tana River, unakuta kuna nafasi ambazo magavana wameweka miti na wameitengeza ili wananchi waweze kupata nafasi ya kupumzika pale ama kujivinjari. Lakini Bwana Spika, kitu ambacho kimenishangaza sana ni kwamba magavana wa kaunti zetu, sehemu hiyo ambayo wameijenga, wamepanda miti, imefungwa. Watu hawaendi huko kujivinjari ama kupumzika tena. Mahali pale Hola katika Tana River County, Bwana Spika, ambapo miti imepandwa ili mazingira yawe mazuri, hakuna watu wanakubaliwa kuingia. Wanasema ukiingia unaenda kuharibu. Sasa mimi nashangaa, haya mazingira ambayo tunataka kuyajenga, ni kwa nini yasiwe wazi kwa wananchi? Toka Tana River kuja hapa Nairobi, Bwana Spika, kuna hapa mahali inaitwa Uhuru Gardens. Uhuru Gardens, Bwana Spika, ilikuwa ni mahali pazuri sana ambapo wananchi wengi ambao wanaishi katika sehemu hiyo walikuwa wanaenda kupumzika. Uhuru Gardens, mahali watu wengi watakwambia walienda wakapata wachumba wao kule, na saa ingine hata wakafanya sherehe za kuoana sehemu hiyo. Bwana Spika, Uhuru Gardens sasa imekuja ikachukuliwa na serikali hiyo hiyo, na pesa za wananchi hao ndio zimejenga pale mahali pakubwa pa masherehe. Sasa imekuwa ni sherehe ya president peke yake, hakuna mwananchi ambaye anakubaliwa kuingia pale. Ni kwa nini hizi environment ambazo tunazitumia tunataka kuzijenga zisifaidi wananchi wa kawaida? Ukiangalia Tana River wamepafunga kabisa pale mahali ambapo pana miti hola. Hapa Nairobi Uhuru Gardens imefungwa. Mwananchi wa kawaida ambaye alikuwa anaishi sehemu za Langata hakuna mahali pa kujivinjari. Ukifika pale unaona mageti makubwa, askari wengi, hakuna mahali pa kujivinjari. Paka siku ambao rais anaenda huko pengine kufanya sherehe, Madaraka Day, Jamhuri Day, watu wanaingizwa alafu akitoka basi nafungwa tena. Na zamani Bwana Spika ilikuwa ni mahali pako wazi. Kila mtu anapata nafasi ya kujivinjari na kufurahia mazingira yetu. Hapa Nairobi Bwana Spika, watu wengi wanaishi kwa nyumba ndogo ndogo, apartments. Sasa ukifunga Uhuru Park, na mimi sijui hawa watu wanafikirianga namna gani Bwana Spika. Ukifunga ile Uhuru Park hapa imekuwa shida, wamewachilia pande moja. Uhuru Gardens wameifunga kabisa. Na sisi wengine tulipokuwa wadogo Bwana Spika, na tulipokuwa university, tulikuwa hatuwezi kupeleka hawa mama tumeoa, tulikuwa hatuwezi kuwapeleka madeti nje. Tulikuwa tunanua njugu, unaenda mahali kama Uhuru Gardens unakaa kando na unaeleza na ukiingiza mtu box. Bwana Spika, wamefungia. Sasa watoto hawa wanatafuta wachumba zao ni kusimama mabarabarani. Hata maajali yanaongezeka hapo Langata Road Bwana Spika. Hii kitu lazima iangaliwe tena. Sehemu zetu za mazingira ambazo ni za open zifunguliwe, wananchi waweze kufurahia Nairobi, kufurahia Tana River. Kwa hivyo mimi naunga mkono Bwana Spika huu mswada, na naomba maseneta wote waunge mkono huu mswada ili tupitishe kwamba kila mwaka tarehe 15 tuweze kusherehekea kazi ya kupanda miti kwa wiki moja. Ninashukuru sana, asante kwa kunipa nafasi hii. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Beatrice.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the Environment Law Amendment Bill 2024. And from the word go, Honorable Speaker, I want to support and really congratulate Senator Haji for this amendment. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the environment, we are basically talking about our future. I look up at the public gallery and I see young Kenyans seated there. But Honorable Speaker, if we don't preserve, if we don't protect, if we don't expand and take care of our environment, we will literally have killed the future of the young Kenyans that are seated on the gallery today. Honorable Speaker, environment speaks to restoring land. And land, Honorable Speaker, as I've said, is our future. That with a good environment, we are able to really do away with certain disasters that we have in the world today. And in our country, in the recent past, we have seen a lot of disasters touching on drought, touching on floods that have destroyed property and have led to even the loss of life. Honorable Speaker, if we restore land, through land and through good environment, we are able to get our food. The food we eat comes from our land, comes from a good environment. The clothes we put on comes from a good environment. The food, as I've said, that we eat, even the medicine that we take, come from our environment. The shelter that we have, including even this, the house that we are in today, if you look around, all the components that have been used to build this house come from a good environment. And Honorable Speaker, that is why I passionately support this bill. This bill talks about the promotion of afforestation and afforestation, Honorable Speaker. It talks about the promotion of planting of trees in all public land. But Honorable Speaker, I want to state that it should go ahead and not only limit planting of trees on public land, but on private land as well, Honorable Speaker. We have public land all over, but most of these lands are just bare. So I support that if we are able to plant trees in most of this public land, and especially in the county public lands, we'll have a good environment that will determine the future of mankind. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about public land and private land, this brings me to the idea that we should even have a relook at amend the Physical Planning Act. That as even houses are built, as planning is happening, there is need to be an enforcement of planting of trees on those spelled out in the Physical Planning Act. Honorable Speaker, even in the urban centers, we must encourage that the estates, the houses that are built, a lot of greening needs to be done as houses or as estates are brought forward. Honorable Speaker, the amendment talks about replacement of trees if trees are felled. Honorable Speaker, we have our people down in our communities felling trees, sometimes even for charcoal. But that may not be the bad part of it. The bad part of it, Honorable Speaker, is that once these trees are felled, then you find that the ground is left open. I encourage that you find that the ground is left open. I encourage that this must be addressed, that once somebody falls a trees, whether it is for harvesting, normal harvesting, or the dead trees, then a number of trees must be planted to replace this. Honorable Speaker, in my county, we had the Ruma National Park and Kodera Forest that had lots of trees some years back. But if you go there today, Honorable Speaker, the ground is open. And that is why I want to support the afforestation and reforestation programs. Honorable Speaker, in this country, we have national tree planting days. I would pray that we go ahead and even establish family tree planting days. That as we plant trees as a nation, why can't our families also adopt the national tree planting notion so that families are able to plant trees when the rainy season begins? And Honorable Speaker, this requires public education. Honorable Speaker, I also want to enhance this by saying we must also increase the planting of indigenous trees, that as we plant these trees, we must also encourage. And this can take effect by the county departments of forestries. I want to support this bill, Honorable Speaker, because on Article 4, it talks about, it spells out offenses that there would be, if an offense is committed, you can see the bill spells out even fines that are meted out on people who break some of those rules. Honorable Speaker, it would also be important that we make it mandatory that young people, an example, the young people that we have on the gallery today, why don't we make it mandatory that any young person in school or out of school must also be able to plant a trees? And Honorable Speaker, this can be enforced. So, Honorable Speaker, sometimes people complain that they have no access to the tree seedlings. This amendment should also take care of the fact that we must also establish a public tree seedling areas where members of the public can be able to go and pick tree seedlings to plant at the beginning of the rainy season, so that people do not have the excuse that they are not able to plant trees. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this bill, and I want to emphasize that a good environment is the source of our food, is the source of our clothes, is the source of the shelter, is the source of the medicine that we take, and so we must take care of our environment. Honorable Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Beatrice. Before I give the last, I believe, we still have got 2 more senators to contribute. I have communication from the chair to make. This is with regards to visiting teachers and students from Birithia Girls High School in the county of Nyeri. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon visiting teachers and students from Birithia Girls High School, Othaya constituency in Nyeri County. The delegation comprises 4 teachers and 98 students who are in the Senate for a 1-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. In the absence of the Honorable Senator from the county of Nyeri, I will allow Senator Sifuna in under 1 minute to welcome them.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity not only as a senator for Nairobi, but as one of the leaders in this House to welcome our students to the Senate this afternoon. I hope that you get to learn a few things about how we do our business here. And I'm hoping that there's future senators in the group that has visited us today, Honorable Speaker. And because, Honorable Speaker, their home senator is not here, I undertake that between myself and the chairman, newly minted chair of the Public Accounts Committee, we shall ensure that these kids have a good time when they're here in Nairobi. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Senator Sifuna, for holding brief for Honorable Senator Wamatinga from the county of Nyeri in welcoming the visitor to the Senate. Senator Omar Sheikh Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this bill, which is the author of the bill is Senator Abdul Haj. Mr. Speaker, this bill, it is our responsibility to ensure sustainable